So let's talk about why someone would wear the lifter. So to start, let's first look at the ankle joint. So the ankle has two major movements that happens when you're squatting. They have dorsiflexion and plantar flexion. So dorsiflexion is kind of thinking about your toes coming to your shins, or your toes coming up, or while you're squatting, your feet are planted, so your shins coming towards your toes. Plantar flexion is bringing your toes down or kind of going up on your tippy toes. So plantar flexion would happen when you're coming out of the squat and your shins are going away from your toes. So when you look at someone squatting, a lot of the times when they have, oh, I have ankle mobility issues. Well, the problem's happening at the dorsiflexion. So when they're wearing flat shoes, their ankles or their shins aren't able to come far enough forward or closer to their toes, so they get stuck and they feel like they don't have enough room to keep their knees driving forward and their shins coming towards their toes. So it's a dorsiflexion or shins moving towards your toes issue. So when you add in lifters into the equation, what happens is the lifters have a heel, right? So your foot's flat and then all of a sudden it goes up and you've got an inch or so under your heel. So when you start, you're in this plantar flex position or tippy toe position, and you're already starting with a little extra dorsiflexion range of motion. So your shins have more ability to go forward because you're starting from you're here versus here. So you've got this extra range of motion that your ankles can go. So when you start squatting with lifters, you start going and then they just are able to go deeper in the squat before they hit that dorsiflex position or toes or shins forward towards the toes position where they get stuck. So a lot of people say, oh my gosh, I can get my knees forward more. Well, that's happening because they're able to get their shins closer to their toes, their knees drive forward, and then their knees drive forward gives more room for their hips to come down and squat deeper in the squat. So is there an advantage of lifters? Yes. If you're having issues hitting the bottom of the squat and you're thinking it's because your ankles are feeling stiff and you don't have enough motion at your ankles, well, if you try squat shoes, it might help because of that extra from here to here. Now you've got this extra motion before you hit that plateau. So that's why squat shoes might be helpful. Try it out, see if it works for you. Some people like it, some people don't, but you never know till you try. See you guys.